Hello, good morning. 1991, and the Sugar Company and Greencore. Um, and there was three factories producing sugar, one in Carlow, one in Mallow, and I think one in Tuam. There was three. There had been four, but no, there was three anyway. And farmers produced beet, BWET, beet, for the production of sugar in these factories. And often in Carlow, sort of in the latter part in autumn, there'd be tractors and lorries and all the rest of it bringing beet to the sugar factory in that town in Carlow. And it'd be quite a lot and quite an amount. We produced our own sugar. It was called sucre in Irish. And it was, homemade, if you like. And farmers benefit from it. And there used to be a bit of what would they call it, negotiations about the price for the beet and all the rest from the farmers. You know yourself, because they're producing the raw material that was going into make the sugar. And they had a big office, the Sugar Company in Earlsport Terrace in Dublin, and important clerical and managerial positions and all the rest of it. And it was a marvellous product. But what do you think happened in 1991? It was handed over to Greencore, a company called Greencore. And if I remember rightly, four directors made millions. And there was an inquiry about it. The lad called Comfort, I think, made 2 million. I lived in Shrewsbury Road in a very posh part of Dublin. So there was, it was considered not good. And the Minister for Agriculture at the time was Mrs. Coughlin. Mrs. Coughlin. Let me see. No. She was she was a school teacher, but she was Minister for Agriculture. And what did they do? Because we were in the EEC, the European Economic Community, closed all these sugar factories. Closed them. I cannot believe it. Should have never done it. It had disastrous effects on employment in this important section where we had our own sugar. We didn't depend on abroad. Now look at the price of oil and the business that is coming from other countries. It's a deplorable decision that this lady took. Fianna Fáil, Minister for Agriculture, teacher. What would she know about agriculture? They gave in to this business of the EEC, and we on the Nice Treaty and the Maastricht Treaty, two items in the EU or the EEC, we voted no. But did they accept the democratic will of the people at that time? Not at all. Second referendum, putting the freedom on people, and then they voted according to the. So they didn't respect democracy in that sense. Shame on them. I think Bertie Ahern was the Taoiseach stroke Prime Minister at that time, and that's something that, as far as I'm concerned, was a very regrettable way to go about respecting democracy. When people vote no, they vote no. And proper bother that they did, because it's turned out now to morph into the EU, the European Union, and they're gone astray as far as I'm concerned. The only two decent countries in Europe is Poland and Hungary that respect life and have good laws, and they're getting persecuted by this EU, what they call commission. They're not elected. They're not voted in, but have more power than they should have, in my opinion. Anyways, so Greencore. Now, so that was a very strange thing, and they didn't need to do it subsequently, as we know. And you can't depend on basic items like sugar and things like that. Another company disappeared over Irish Fertilizers. that was producing fertilizer for farmers in a big factory, I think, in Arklow, which could have sent it abroad at more profit or money. I don't know what they were at. And then we had the factories producing something else, but we won't go into that. It's not in this 1999, not what I'm talking about, the sugar company. Sometimes I digress into other situations. But suffice to say that we should not have closed those sugar factories because the farmers were growing beet and they were making some income from that. Isn't that the way to do things? You don't want to be in an organisation like the EU that has policies that are inimical to the farmers. And we're talking about small farmers, should be big farms. Thank God it didn't go down that road because the farmers wouldn't accept it. Proper order. So the sugar company is being closed and the farmers deprived of this production of beet. It was a knock-on effect, and the big head office that they had in Earlswood Terrace now is morphed into something else. And look at all the unemployment. Where did those people get jobs? They could have been in their 40s or 50s, and sometimes you're considered over the hill at 40, would you believe, in this country. You can't always stay at between 20 and 30 or whatever it is. If you're lucky, you live on, and like me. And by goodness, talk about a career in the business world and working for companies with all the strikes and that, nothing could last really. A lot of companies folded, especially when they joined this EEC and it began to take effect after 10 years. It's dangerous. And all the strikes, petrol strikes, bank strikes, and you name it. Anyways, it's the sugar company we're talking about, Greencore. It was a very bad decision in my book. And it should be reinstated, these factories. But when you close the stable door, the horses bolted. How are you going to get back the trust? If you lose trust, that's a very dangerous thing to do. And I think the way they proceeded, and now the Green Party put more pressure on farmers, and the leadership of the farmers suffering from some defect up here. They should be fighting for farmers as they did in the past, not be given into anything rubbishy that they come out with. But by all means, avoid pollution. With the slurry that it was been years ago. I don't like the business of the slurry. The smell of it is something shocking. So that kind of tell you that it can't be good. I don't think it's good. But anyways, I'm not strain again from the sugar and the beet. The farmers producing beet. So it was a knock-on effect. And many thousands lost their jobs at that time. And look at the added value that we had. Oh goodness, when you have a crowd of idiots running things, they don't stand up for anything, do they? They don't respect the democratic will. Dangerous. They have their own agenda, haven't they? Yeah, we see the result of it. The killing of the innocent, that type of thing. Yeah, the killing of the vulnerable. Euthanasia, suicide, and all the rest of it. Anyways, we're trying to finish on a good note. The sugar company gave great employment, and we've had our own sugar. Now we're importing from abroad. God knows where. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't think anybody does. Maybe the experts do. And who wants to be an expert? Just use the common sense. Use it for the good of the people. Sometimes I think this government, this country doesn't think of the Irish people in the proper way that they should. They might as well be a foreign power the way they're ruling at the present time. Anyways, they should have never closed the sugar factories. They were an asset. You don't get rid of your assets or give them to somebody else, which they've done with the Aircom. I think a French crowd owns it now and call themselves EIR Air. Nothing in here. Only trying to get money. And now they're doing something with the messages. I digress again, don't I? Yeah, stick to what I'm talking about. So that's what we should have done. Kept the sugar companies. Yeah, there we are. Greencore. I don't know what to do now. Probably doing something else. Bye now, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.